for this.
How you doing? Don't worry, it's almost over. Hi, Hato.
See?
See,
See,
don't be so serious. Where's Word?
he's here.
Let's go, Word. Isn't it
Okay.
Word, Nick? It's the Word, right?
Mr. Word. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a proposal that will upset Word.
Uh,
Can I do it?
Probably.
upset. That would not be difficult.
Can I take the first 10 minutes of your class?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that to everybody. Okay, Nick?
Okay. Noted. Yeah. And
So let me take the screen.
good playing, boss.
Let me find the thing I wanted to talk about. Hang on.
Are you going to expostulate?
Yes, I have. In fact, probably the rest of the classes.
Mm,
I'll just take equally 10 minutes from each person or something like that.
cool. This is what you've been bribing us for these last few terms?
I want to talk about the rules of the mixed nuts and how it works, and for the new people. And I took too much of their classes already, so now I'm going to take a little bit of everybody else's class. How's that?
Sounds good.
And I think it's good if the audience hears it, because they want to be a mixed nuts later. Okay, here we go. So Word, I'll really try to stop. Give me 15 minutes. Give me 12 minutes, okay? And here we go. And I know it's going to be irritating for Word and for the rest of you, but I don't care. Okay, here we go. I would like to describe the workflow of the mixed nuts. And partly why I'm doing it is because we need to clean up part of it, because now we have so many books coming out that we need to organize better. And we also need more people to help. There's more work now. There's much more work now. And I can't cover all of it. Like I used to cover the extra work, but it's just too much now. There's too many books coming out. So we need more people. So I'm inviting, part of the reason I'm doing this presentation is to ask for help, okay? So if you guys who are already mixed nuts, or you guys who are just observing these classes, if you think there's something I mentioned that you would like to help with, then talk to Nick or talk to Ben Kramer, and write them and say, I'd like to help with that, because we need help. It's too much for me to do everything anymore. Okay. All right. So here's the workflow, and I'm just gonna stop at 5:45. Wherever, and then I'll continue in the next class. Okay. This is how the mixed nuts works. So I have a workflow, and then I have a policy document. Okay, here's the workflow. Can you guys see it? Okay. And Utpala, you asked me to send out the PDF from the document I did in the morning, and I will send it out. In fact, Nick, while Word does his homework, I'll post it I'll send it to you to post in the chat.
Sure.
Okay. And anybody who wants a copy of that document can have it, right?
I was going to post it
Okay,
on Google
so-
Docs Schedule so that anyone can get it.
Let's
We
do
should
both.
let's do both here.
Oh,
Let's do
okay.
both. It doesn't hurt. Okay, so here's the flow of the mixed nuts work. And each step is numbered. Okay, look at this flow. That's how many steps we have. Okay, that's all the jobs. And, we need more people. We need more help. That's how many jobs there are. And it's a lot. and it's a lot of work. And now that the mixed nuts are better trained, they're putting out more books. I need help. We need more help. So here we go. And again, if anything sounds interesting to anybody, talk to Nick, talk to Ben Kramer. Just say, look, I want to help with that. Okay. Here's how the flow goes. And Word, I will stop at 5:45. I got 8 minutes. Number one, and by the way, the first step in the mixed nuts workflow is we choose a subject. We choose an ancient school. Or we choose a topic. And I'm just going to give the example of Abhidharma. Okay, so let's say Stanley finishes his first Abhidharma book, and we want to go deeper into Chimza or one of the other classics, Gyalwangzi. These are deeper commentaries on Abhidharma, debate commentaries. So the first step in the workflow is we choose a topic like Abhidharma. Now, second step, we choose a book. Okay, so in the case of Abhidharma, there's a Tibetan master called Genin Drup, and he wrote a book called Light on the Path of Freedom, which is an Abhidharma commentary. So we select a title and we select an author. That's the second thing we do. First, we choose a school, and then we choose a book and an author. Third step, we look for several good editions of the book. We try to find some good books. We try to find carvings, and we try not to find computer input books because they are often corrupt, every single page. There is not high quality control of ancient book publishing in this world because nobody can read it. And nobody can see there's 3 mistakes on every page. So unfortunately, many editions are bad. So we try to find the carvings. The carvings are usually high quality. There's very few problems with most carvings because you don't carve something, the king or the prince of the local kingdom doesn't sponsor a carving unless it's well edited, normally. Okay. Now I have side trees here. We try to find the original Sanskrit, or we try to find the Pali or the early Chinese translations. So we try to find other versions, other supporting translations. That's 3.02. Step 3.03, we try to find a nice biography of the author, like the one that Ben Kramer's been reading for Dignaga and Dharmakirti, for example, or the one that Sugang's been reading for Vasubandhu. We try to find a nice authoritative. By the way, I'm not interested in something you find online. I'm not interested. They're almost always wrong. They're almost always corruption. They're almost always some starving university scholar, I'm sorry, who's trying to get credit for their professorship or something. And they're poorly written, they're poorly researched, they're poorly translated, and I don't trust them. So I only want to use original biographical works, okay? I don't want someone's guesses about, well, maybe he lived then, and maybe he was there, and maybe his name was Sun. I'm not interested. I want authentic biographies that they're using, and then they just keep adding stuff. I was at Princeton University. I was pressured in my senior thesis to make up stuff. And it was considered scholarly to make up new things. We had a lot of pressure to make up new things. And it was all bull hockey. And now I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, So anyway, by the way, Nick, Ben, why these have numbers on them? Each step in this long process is gonna have a number on it. And the reason I put a number on it is after this term, I would like Nick and Ben to sit down and make a list of those numbers, okay, on a separate document. And then I would like to see who's in charge of that. Who's in charge of 1.01? Who's in charge of 2.01? Who's in charge of 3.01? Okay, A, who's in charge? I'll make a list. B, who pays them and how much do they get paid? You know, who pays them? How much do they get paid? Who's their boss? 3, who works for them? 4, who checks that they do their work? 5, and who reviews them every year for a raise and a bonus? Okay, and number 6, who raises the money for? And so every single task here should have a person assigned to it or several people. They should have a supervisor. They should have staff if it's a big job. They should have a salary. They should have a bonus if they do good work. They should have a review twice a year. And what's their job supposed to be should be written down for them. And here's the 10 things you're supposed to do. And we never did this for the mixed nuts. We never had this. And we're getting big now and we're producing important work. And, you know, Ben and Nick have been begging me to finish a contract with Diamond Cutter Press, for example. And it's time to write down who does each job, who's in charge of them, how many hours a day do they get, how much do they get paid, where do they get a bonus, who's in charge of them, who's working for them, how often do they get checked, who keeps track of their hours, like that. I mean, it's time to make it a real company because we're so successful. We have 27 books coming out, and somebody has to coordinate all this stuff. So that's my sales pitch for you guys. There's going to be how many? I don't know. There's probably 100 jobs here, and they're all necessary. And I would like to define them. I'd like to define who's in charge of them, who's working for it, who pays them, who raises the money for them, God bless, and stuff like that, okay? And then each number here will have a person and their job and who's in charge of them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, Word, over to you. And I'll continue this. I'll do it 10 minutes in each class. Okay, Mr. Homework.
Okay.
Sorry to take your time, and I'm sorry I popped it on you, but I thought I would have more time, but I didn't. I talked too long about the other thing.
Oh, no problem. Here we go.
Yay, homework.
Yeah, let me just share the screen.
You go ahead.
Okay. Just a little review from last time. Okay. Question 1. Does the explication by Master Has No Nature at All agree with Jason Kappa that seeds are neither Seichik nor Tadepa?
with the kunshi.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm going to give other people a chance. Word.
Thanks, man.
I don't know. I definitely don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. It's binary. Either does or doesn't.
Yeah, it is. There's more details, but you're right. It is binary. Okay. It seems like he does not but we shouldn't be confused by the meaning of his words because his text is actually in agreement with the text of the Asanga brothers.
Is what Jason Kappa says.
That's exactly what Jason says.
Yeah, I think in the bottom line is he does agree that it's difficult to say it's either the same or the separate from. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really specific part, but they're all really specific parts. And if I don't pick one, then there's no homework. Okay. What is the 2-word Tibetan phrase that Jason Kappa adds to the term lungwaten in his verse for clarification?
Ooh, nice question. Easy.
Stepani Hakmo,
No.
Say,
Stepe Bakshak.
just 2 words. Give me 2 words.
Tangnyeom.
No, good try though. I think
I'm
think
just looking at the verse. Sorry.
I'm just guessing nowhere.
I think we covered this twice in the early years of the mixed nuts.
we
Yeah.
did. We're getting there too.
Hmm.
It's my drip.
Oh, of course, yes. It was in Stanley's text too.
Yeah, it was. Okay, Geshe-la. I have a
Wait,
question.
you have to say and does not cause an obstacle.
What's that?
You have to say and does not cause an obstacle.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I meant.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You cause an obstacle, but it doesn't.
Non-obstacular, unpredicted.
Perfect translation, Nick. You'll get a bonus in the next review.
Oh,
Okay, Geshe, you ready?
What am I waiting for? I don't know.
Bonus question, $300. Geshe Michael.
God, you must. I know you hit your head now. You must have hit your head.
You
Wait,
ready?
am I paying also?
No, I pay you. Get it right.
Yeah, now you put me on the spot.
All right, well, that's
What if
some
I don't
karma
get
right
it
there,
right?
Geshe.
What if I don't get it right? I
You ready?
can't take your money. I can't take your money, but you can donate it to something, okay?
If you
After I
get it,
win it.
if you get it.
After I win it easily.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Now I'm nervous.
That's the
Now I
point.
know what it feels like.
I know it's all coming back to you now. Okay, here it is. Name
Isabel,
of
his name is not word, it's weird.
it's both. Name a phenomenon that is neutral and does not cause an obstacle.
You mean Madrib Lungmaten, right?
Yep.
Mental seed, Bakchak.
No, it's specific. We had it in I think the first term.
Yeah, now you're changing it. Oh my God. First term. First term of the whole mixed nuts.
First term, yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting serious. Let me think about it.
Jam Young Shaper comments on it.
Physical form.
No, it's super specific. There might be others. This is the one I know that we talked
Wait,
about.
is it the, I'm trying to remember the non-communicating karma?
No, that would be cool though. It was super specific. It's been like 5 years, but I thought it'd be fun to do.
Yeah, thanks. That's good to hear. I give up. I don't remember.
It's a meditative state of fogginess, mukba.
Oh my God.
Still have no recollection of that.
I
That's
remember.
only a
Hey, guess
good
why?
computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have a madrip lungmaten. Okay.
I got fogginess about that.
I didn't have to give $200, so I don't have
Yeah,
fogginess.
all right. I'm only gonna make bets like that with you now.
Okay, here we go. According to a debate opponent, what are the 3 absurd consequences of seeds being neutral? This is the last thing we covered.
If they're neutral, how can they cause
Right.
pleasure or pain?
Good.
Basically, yeah, that's one. That's one of them. more. That's kind of the first 2 though, how he's the opponent splits them up. So There's one more that's a little,
Well, in order to create the seed, the action would have had to have been neutral itself, right? But if all seeds are neutral, they couldn't then have that other, what Gelsay said.
that's logical. It's not what he says, but it's logical.
Also, if they're neutral, you can't have a good or bad birth, which is kind of saying the same thing as pleasure and pain.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's specific. I don't know if people took notes on it, but it's a vow wouldn't yield a good result, is what he says.
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, yeah.
A vow could not be a sustained virtue.
Exactly. And the first two were more specifically, the ripenings of causes cannot do anything, and causes cannot yield results that are like them.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we didn't refute those yet, but we're getting there. Okay, I have some Tibetan words. Shungpa.
Wow. That first one is very difficult.
Yeah, it's a fun
Shungpa.
one.
It's rare also.
It's rare. There's not that many new words, so I just put it.
Clear thinker.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what it means too, Geshe-la?
What?
It means spinal cord.
That I didn't ever hear of.
So I think it's like the person with the most spinal cord or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds logical.
Yeah,
That sounds logical. There must be a fancy English word for Shumba.
probably is. They
It
said
means like a high degree of intellectual discrimination or something like that. Okay.
yeah, it does. Did I forget? Hold on, I forgot to do this. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
1 second now.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
I thought I did that and I didn't. Okay. Here we go again. Okay, here are the Kens. I forgot the last one. Anyway, here are the
Oh,
Kens.
nasty, nasty.
Huh.
Let's just review them. What's
Mhm.
Dakpoi Ken?
Mm,
Cause factor.
yeah. I mean,
It refers to a cause factor, but just give me the translation.
Mm,
The one we came up with in class for someone that's like,
Dominant.
yeah, perfect. Good job.
Nice. Oh, nice. Dominant factor. Dominant condition.
Dewey Ken?
That's easy.
Yeah.
causal factor.
Yeah.
Causal
Yeah.
Cause. They mock the bacon. I can speak.
Medium.
Yeah, exactly. And then Mick Bacon,
Hmm.
The object factor.
basically object. I use condition,
Condition, I see. Yeah.
factor, condition,
Condition.
whatever.
Nice. That's good. Those are good. That's good
And I
that you
did-
did those.
Yeah, I just thought we could review them. I did
Mhm.
one more and then I forgot to do the thing again. Oh, what does he say? I'll say it out loud. Nyun me pe Luke. What's that?
Uncrazy system.
Not Nyun. Nyun.
Oh.
Ngun. Ngun.
Nyun. Nyun.
Ngun. Okay.
SGNO.
SNGO.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, system no one ever had before.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, Ben. Very
Yeah.
good. Never before seen system. Good,
Yeah.
Ben.
It implies a made up stupid system. Okay.
Translation. It was really hard. I don't think I got it.
Good for you.
yeah. It's not a fun part of the text.
I tried.
Yeah, let's go slow because your text is, I don't know, it got worse. Damboni, Jesu Jalwa Shesoki Lung Yepe. Okay, let's do that much.
Okay.
There is a lung which mentions Jesu Jalwa. That's what this means.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Because of the citation, which mentions by association.
Is that how
Okay.
is that how we're translating Jason Droga?
Yeah, you can. You can say by association. What's it mean?
One like the sabin, like a seed produces the seed in the next moment.
No, we're talking its karmic content. It's
Oh,
karmic. How active is it karmically? Meaning, is it virtue by association or non-virtue by association? That's the topic here, right?
it is.
So there's this idea that seeds might be described as good or bad by association, not because of their own essence. Okay. So look, there is that scripture that mentions by association, and I'm going to show you that quotation. Okay. Therefore, Bhakja Gemige Tsinipagirna. If the implication of that, if because of that quotation, mental seeds become actual Tsinipar, okay? If because of that quotation, they become actual virtue or non-virtue, okay? If seeds become virtue or non-virtue, real virtue and non-virtue, because of that reference to by association with something else, okay? Pedana sukmed tuyang sukseni pashik yobagyote. Then in that case, even in the formless realm, there would have to be examples of suksenipa.
Actual form.
Yeah, good. Yeah, actual form. Okay. Why? Because Jesu Jawi Suksu Shepa de Dena Senipa Yube Chite. Because the kind of form which is said to be exist by association, okay, would have to be actual, okay? And that's because there would have to be seeds for physical matter. Okay, it's complicated. Okay, and I'll show you the quotation. I'll show you the reference. The point is, if because seeds are associated with virtue or non-virtue, that makes them virtue or non-virtue, actual virtue and non-virtue, then there's other examples of things that are associated. For example, in the formless realm is associated with the potential for form. So then it would have to be actual form. Okay, so that's all. Okay. And not only that, not only would there be form in the formless realm by association, right? If existing by association is to exist in reality, then in the higher two realms, there would also have to be Gewat Migewat Senipa. Actual non-virtue. And that's not true. They don't have non-virtue in the higher two realms, okay?
Right. So this ma is not ma ni, it's kam kung ma.
Yeah, it's koma. Yeah, koma.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I have a question for you, Word.
Okay.
Don't the deities fight with the demigods and make bad karma?
Yes.
That's the desire.
Good. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. It's only the people in the form and formless realms are in a state of meditation all the time, and they don't make bad karma. Yeah, they don't create new bad karma. So Ben Kramer, why do they always go to hell?
They used to have their
Oh, go ahead, Ben Kramer.
37 people just said it at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, they use up all their goodness, feeling so fantastic all the time.
And then their old bad seeds assert their power. Yeah, yeah, good. Okay, cool. All right, this is getting into a difficult section word.
As
And,
opposed to the other ones.
yeah.
Finally.
And by the way, I talk about it in the workflow. And after the workflow, I'm going to present just some ideas I have about our whole project. And one of the ideas I have is that you guys should realize that the translation classes are not even meant to come up with a definitive translation. It's too early in the process while we're threshing out the first translation. It's too early to decide what the thing means. Okay, it's too early. It takes a year after that. It takes about a year after the last class for it to really clarify it. You see what I mean? And that's just part of the process. Like no translator in the world of these texts can decide on the first day they read something what's the correct translation. It's got to have a period where you think about it, you chew on it, you read other commentaries, and that's just part of the process. Don't be frustrated if you can't get to the point of making a finished translation of a sentence that you just read for the first time last week. That's not even possible. You know, it takes the classes that we do together are not for the purpose of a final translation. They're for the purpose of starting the process of cooking it. Okay, and that's just the way it is. And I don't believe there's any translator in the world who could read something truly new and translate it immediately and it would come out good. You see, it's too deep. You need to finish the whole book. You need to sit with it for a few months. You need to come back to it 3, 4, 5 times, and then you can do a finished translation. Yeah. Okay. Not really. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Word, you ready? Yeah. So don't get frustrated if you can't do a finished translation the first day. Nobody can. And the goal of doing it together is to start the process. And then it cooks and cooks and cooks, and then it comes out like a pizza. Oh God, I just got a desire for pizza. Okay, so by the way, here it is, word. Here's your sentence. And the word Jesur by association, we had it before. It came before. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Here it is. It's the Abhidharma Samuccaya. And it says non-virtue by association. Okay. What is non-virtue by association? Okay. And that's what he's referring to in this line. Okay. Okay. Good. So let's go on. We're on to the second part. Supposedly the second part. It's always good to look at what the second part is. And we say he attempted scriptural proofs for why the seeds should be virtue or non-virtue. He attempted to bring up scriptural proofs for why the seed should not be always neutral. And we beat those. Okay. Now he's gonna do Rikpa. And Nick knows Drupje. Drupje means, backup or evidence, or what do you call that?
We've been calling it Sheje, right?
Proof.
a corroboration or evidence, you see? And then he says, look, you cannot, the quotations you attempted to use to prove that seeds could also be virtuous and non-virtuous didn't work out, okay? Now, drupche de mindroa means they don't work as proof, okay? So your scriptural quotations don't work as proof that seeds can be virtuous and non-virtuous. And now we're going to show that your logic doesn't work out as proof that seeds can be virtuous and non-virtuous, okay? Because the rangluk here is that seeds are always
Neutral.
yeah, neutral and non-obstructing, okay?
Non-obstacular.
Yeah. What did we say? Word I forgot. None. How did we translate lungmatan? Madrip.
Neutral and does not cause an obstacle is madrip.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. So now we're gonna defeat his attempted logic of why seeds had to be virtuous or non-virtuous, and that was the 3 points that you had in your homework, right? So now we're gonna attack those 3 points. Here we go.
당보나 민기 유민 제발 텔셰베니 나민
Oh, can you check them? Okay.
펜제 마옌발 텔와 니 두바 테 박착 된족 제 예미게 방 신파 인베 치르족 제니 펜제 인베소.
This is interesting. Okay. Your first logical argument was that if seeds were not virtuous or virtuous or non-virtue, they couldn't provide or they couldn't serve as namin kigyu. What's that mean?
The ripenings of causes.
Causes which ripen.
Yeah.
Into some experience. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So explain the idea, word. If the seeds are not virtuous or non-virtuous, then how could there be a namin kigyu?
Yeah, if the seeds are not virtuous, are neither virtuous nor non-virtuous, then how could they ripen into an experience of
into a good or bad experience specifically, right? How can seeds ripen into ice cream and vegetables if they are not virtuous or non-virtuous?
Right.
Okay. If they don't have that kind of content to them, how can they give us pleasant ice cream and unpleasant vegetable experiences? Okay. Shepani.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Now this is very interesting. We say namin penje mayimba tawani. Duh. We say duh. Yeah. What are the seeds not penjayers? Penjayers?
Yeah.
He says, the opponent says, are you telling me karmic seeds are not penjayers? And we say, yup. Yup. That's an unusual answer, immediate answer. Yup. Okay. What's penjay?
Throwing, casting.
They throw an experience into the future. They throw an experience into the future of pleasure or pain. Wait, are you telling me karmic seeds don't throw an experience into the future of pleasure or pain? Are you saying that? And we say, yup. That's exactly what we're saying. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. Because bakchak de jokje gamige pang sin.
Because potentials.
Now, word, I'll help you. The potentials have already been pung.
I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry. Okay, say it. I'm sorry.
No, Zin means just already happened. So on an end of a verb. So yeah, and pang is the past tense of pen. So
Wow.
yeah, so the potentials were already placed as virtue or non-virtue.
No, the seeds themselves
Mhm.
were already thrown into the future by the jokjes, meaning the good deeds or bad deeds.
I see.
Okay.
Hmm.
The seed, don't talk about seeds as throwing events into the future.
Uh-huh.
The seeds themselves were already thrown into the future by the jokje. Jokje means what planted them. The actions planted them. The good deeds or bad deeds which planted them. They are not the good deeds or bad deeds. They're the result of the good deeds or bad deeds.
Uh-huh.
Okay? They're already thrown into the future.
Oh,
Okay? They have been thrown into the future by the good deeds or bad deeds which planted them. Jokje. Okay.
oh, right. You can,
That's
yeah.
cool, right? That's
Yeah.
so cool. This is Tsongkhapa defending himself, right? Don't get Tsongkhapa pissed off. You're in trouble. Okay. Then he says, okay, word, you can finish the sentence here. The jokji ni is the penje.
Uh-huh.
The very nature.
No,
Only
the
that.
jokje is the penje.
That's the only
The
thrower.
only thing that they are is throwing. The only thing that their very nature is placement and therefore throwing.
They are
Wait.
the thing that does the
Jokji
throwing.
means the original good deed or bad deed, like killing somebody or giving someone $300 who deserves it. Is a jokje, okay?
Yeah.
It's the jokje that does the throwing.
Yeah.
I see.
It's the original good deed or bad deed that planted the seed that does the throwing. Don't think the seed throws the vegetables or the ice cream. It's the good deed or bad deed that throws the ice cream or the vegetables. Okay, the seeds are intermediate step. Okay,
Got it. Yeah.
they were thrown by the jokje. Okay, the jokje, the original good deed or bad deed, is what does the throwing, not the seeds. The seeds, in fact, are thrown by the jokje.
You will say seed is an intermediate result.
You could. I mean, I'm trying to position the seed as an intermediate. It's a vehicle. It's not the good deed or the bad deed. It's the vehicle that delivers. It's the postman.
Media.
It's the medium. It's not the thrower. The thrower is the original good deed or bad deed that planted the seed. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
This is Tsongkhapa. Okay, here's another argument against something he said. Dr. Kramer, you want to check this guy?
Okay.
Namin mi che partewa la mi kappa mete. Shendu nash kunshi namshiki ke chikma ngama yang lung trumaten pan your bro.
Yeah, and then the guy says, well, okay, let's leave it alone. I back off on my claim that they don't provide the cause for ripening. Okay, I back off on that. But namin michepa tawalani, if the seeds are not good deeds or bad deeds, that doesn't necessarily mean, says Tsongkhapa, that they cannot create a namin kidibu.
A ripened result.
Yeah, a result of karmic ripening, right? Like vegetables or ice cream. Okay, just because that the idea that if they are not good deeds or bad deeds themselves, they can't create the results of good deeds and bad deeds. No kappa, that's not necessarily the case. Okay, that's not necessarily the case. Okay. If it was the case, Shanduna, if it were the case, then kunshi namsheki kechik ngama, kechik mangama yang, nungdum maten bagjuro. Okay, if it were the case, then previous instance of kunshi. Okay, this first ma is not negative, right? It's just kechik ma. Yeah. Okay, and so previous instance of foundation consciousness would also have to be lungmaten. Okay, would also have to be lungmaten. Okay, I guess because they do or because they don't ripen into something.
Because they do ripen into something, right?
According to you, previous instances of foundation consciousness would have to be karmically neutral. Would also have to be karmically neutral. Okay. Okay.
Because the ripenings from the kunshi, if they were not neutral and didn't not cause an obstacle, then therefore, if that's the case, then therefore the kunshi has to be, previous instances have to be neutral as well.
You got to chew on this one, but I think the point is,
Yeah.
Do previous instance of foundation consciousness perpetuate foundation consciousness or not?
Sure.
They would have to, right?
Yeah, I would think they have to, right? And you might have to throw in the idea that bakchaks are the kunshi. Okay, don't forget, they are the tendugyoke kunshi, right? Britain, okay? So I'll say the sentence again, and you guys got to chew on it. It's not necessarily the case that that the seeds cannot produce a karmic ripening. Okay, it's not necessarily the case that if they are always neutral, they cannot produce a karmic ripening. I guess because he's saying they do produce the kunchi of the next moment. Yes, they are lungmaten. Yes, they are not gewa migewa, but they still perpetuate the kunshi. So you can't say they don't have a karmic ripening. Okay? Yeah. It's not necessarily the case that if the seeds are never virtuous or non-virtuous, they cannot create a karmic result. I'll say it again. It's not necessarily the case that if the seeds are only neutral, they cannot create a karmic result. Because after all, don't they perpetuate the kunshi itself?
It does pretty directly contradict the previous paragraph, right?
The point is, can a neutral action create a karmic result?
Right. Well, yeah, can a neutral action?
Don't we often say at a DCI talk that the patterns in the floor tiles were created by a neutral karma in the past? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're either pleasing or displeasing. Right?
Yeah.
Well, he said the action can, but that the seed isn't. Like it's the action causing the result and not the seed causing the result. But now he's saying, yeah, but sure, the seed, obviously the seed kind of causes a result.
Well, I'll tell you what I think it says, okay? And what the other guy must have accused us and said, if seeds cannot be gewa or migewa, if they cannot be a good deed or a bad deed, then they can never produce their own karmic result. And we say, look, it's not necessarily the case because there are neutral karmas that do produce neutral karmic results. And neutral means the result is neither pleasant nor painful. It's just there in the background. It's just background karma. We call it background karma, right? It's creating, I don't know, the weather when you don't notice the weather. Okay. So he's saying just because the seeds are themselves neither good deeds or bad deeds. And if you say it that way, it's a lot easier to take Tsongkhapa's position. Is a karmic seed a good deed or a bad deed? No, I mean, nobody thinks that. It's the result of a good deed or a bad deed, right? It's not a good deed or bad deed in itself. That's all Tsongkhapa is saying. Tsongkhapa is saying a seed is wrapped up with good deeds and bad deeds, but a seed itself is not a good deed or a bad deed. It's a result of a good deed or a bad deed, okay? And then just because it's the result of a good deed or a bad deed doesn't mean it can't create ripened results. Okay. And then he says, for example, the kunchi creates the kunchi of the next moment. It's not a good deed or bad deed. It's karmically neutral in and of itself, right? Didn't we say that? It had to be karmically neutral to accept seeds. Then it tends to perpetuate itself. I don't have why you have a problem with that? Okay.
But he is, I mean, the distinction here, unless I missed something, is that the seed, while being neutral, will perpetuate a result or could perpetuate a result, which is either positive or negative.
That's not the emphasis. That's not the emphasis. The emphasis of this second argument is that in the case of neutral results, the seed is active. The seed is perpetuating a neutral result. Yeah. Just because it's neither good deed or bad deed doesn't mean it cannot create a karmic result. That's all.
And the line he doesn't want to cross here, right, is calling it a namingigyu.
The opponent doesn't want to call a seed a namingigyu. Tsongkhapa says a seed can be a namingigyu for something neutral.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Tough stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, word. Who's up there? Sergey, check him. Find the fault.
My honor.
Mipa Gyutun Rungwar tel Shepe Kyang Min Nute Njokche Tang Gyutun Pa Yin La Te Tam Ki Gyutun Pe Tun Changwei Chiro.
Yeah. Now, this is tricky, okay? He says, as if he says, themselves are neither good deeds or bad deeds. If you, Tsongkhapa, say that mental seeds are always neutral, then how can they be produced? How can they be involved with the production of a similar result? Gyutun. Gyutun means the cause and the result are at the same time. Okay. So if the seed is neither good or bad, how can a seed trigger ice cream and vegetables? Okay. If the seed is neither good nor bad, and the seed is involved in a relationship where the cause and the result are similar, then how can a seed which is invariably neutral lead to pleasant and unpleasant results if there has to be a continuity of content, which is called gyutun, okay? If there has to be a continuity of content, if good has to lead to good and bad has to lead to bad, then how can you claim that mental seeds are always neutral? Do not they always produce results which are either happiness or pain? Then where's your continuity of content? You're saying neutral leads to happy ice cream and neutral leads to spinach. Okay, then where's the gyutun? How can you still say that bakchak's seeds are gyutun?
Yeah.
Gyutun means the cause and the result share a quality of being pleasant or share a quality of being unpleasant. They're consistent. The cause is consistent with the result. Okay. And Tsongkhapa says, there's some gyutun going on here.
Yeah.
There's some gyutun going on here. Where?
With a joke.
Ah, it's gyutun with the jokche.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The seed, and by the way, this is going to be important later. The karmic seed is consistent with the deed that planted it.
Yeah.
But what are you talking? What are you talking about? The karmic seed is consistent with the deed that planted it. Lots of good deeds. There's lots of bad deeds. You just said all the seeds are neutral. Where's the consistency? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He says, when we say that the seeds are in a consistent relationship, good to good, bad to bad. Okay, we're not talking about necessarily that the seed has a consistent relationship with its result. It has a consistent relationship with its cause, which is the deed that planted it. But Tsongkhapa, the seed is still neutral even when it was planted, according to you. Okay. Yes, but it has the capacity to create a good result or a bad result. It carries the DNA to the result.
Right.
Okay. So therefore, there's still a consistency here. All seeds are neutral, but you can still have good seeds and bad seeds.
What's the consequence that we're trying to avoid that we would incur if we were to allow the seed to be called good or bad in dependence upon the action that it stemmed from?
That's okay with Tsongkhapa. He'll agree with that. But he doesn't want to call the seed a good deed or a bad deed.
Just
He
because
wants-
it's not a deed.
He wants to call the seed neutral. He can't say that the seed.
As a karma, it's neutral. But you can call it a good seed or a bad seed depending on the action that planted it.
But for some reason, he doesn't want to say that it's consistent with the result, even though that would be kind of the same
He
as
doesn't
saying.
want to say that. Or he wants to, or maybe it's more convenient for him to beat the opponent by referring to the jokche. The action.
Oh, he didn't say that it's not consistent with the result. He just specifying that.
It's not clear.
Okay.
Not clear. Okay. Whoa. Okay. This is beautiful stuff. And by the way, it's going to be clear later, and you will never guess it's related to the hippie system of tie-dye clothing.
What, trowel, that whole thing?
Cha-cha.
We're getting there. Okay. It's a whole new thing. Okay. I'm putting a seed in your mind. Okay. Here we go. Of course, it's neutral.
Yes.
In the days of the hippies, we had an interesting custom. We would take T-shirts, white T-shirts. We would tie strings on them, like bunch them up with a string. So tie a corner of the T-shirt with a string. Then you throw it in water with dye, with colored dye. And when you pull it out, it dries in patterns. It has star patterns or stuff like that. Okay. So don't forget my example. Okay. Don't forget my example. Tie dye is coming up here.
Time's up also.
It's called tie dye. TIEDYE. You don't dip the T-shirt in a pot of colored water. You tie it up in knots, and then you dip it in the water, and the dye doesn't reach all the parts of the shirt. And when you dry it, you get all these beautiful star shapes. Yes. Oh, here, Stanley's got one here. Can you wait? Hang on. Okay, go. Show it on the camera. There you go.
Can you see?
That's tie dye. That's tie dye. Now, word. That's going to be important for your text, believe it or not. Okay, trust me. Yay. Okay, here we go. Back to the text.
Is it
It's
time?
time.
We're
It's
over
time we
time.
did
We're
not
over
start.
time.
Overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah. Okay, word. We're about to hit something that we can understand. Unfortunately, you don't get it to do it today. But we're going to talk about how a vow, when you take a vow, it can continue to give you good karmic results until the day you lose it. Okay, so the opponent said, if it's true that when you take a vow, you continue to get good karma automatically until the day you die or you give up the vow, how is that possible if seeds are not good or bad? Okay, how is it possible that the continuation of a vow itself could be a good karma? Okay, we'll do it next time. Yay! Yeah, take a break, you guys. Go breathe deep in a plastic bag. Okay.
Okay, short
Okay, how
break,
much time
guys.
is that?
Well, I guess take 5. And we'll take 5 at the end of this.